The Force of Nature is weird. It's certainly one of the Scout unlocks of all time, and it's definitely one of his most out there, thanks entirely to just one stat that completely shifts how you have to go about playing him. I mean, I guess you could say, or I could say, the Force of Nature in TF2 has always seemed like a strange case to me. As one of Scout's oldest unlocks, it's seen damn near everything in TF2's long history, while remaining practically the same the entire time. While the stock scattergun is more for picking 1v1s and actually winning them and, well, you know, general consistency, the Force is more for running right at a group of enemies, blasting the medic, or heavy, or soldier, or just general most valuable target well out of position, and then you run away like a bitch, maybe getting away if you're lucky. But you find some poor bastard who's just all by himself or is already well out of position? Yeah, go. Blast him and plaster his ass all over the damn walls. The Force of Nature's knockback stat is completely centralizing, forcing your entire game plan to revolve around how exactly you utilize that knockback, either for getting kills, or to just really piss someone off. What the fan loses in consistency and reliability, it nearly makes up for that with the extra mobility and just being really, really funny. The stats of the fan, barring one, seem like they want to promote a more run in, blast the medic to bits, and then run away, hopefully getting out alive. You know, 10% damage penalty, 20% more pellets, huge 66% clip size penalty, but a 50% faster firing speed, and the benefit of reloading both shells at once. And then the knockback stat comes in and just ruins everything. Like I said before, the knockback is absurdly centralizing and by far the most polarizing stat on it, and I'd argue it might be one of, if not the most polarizing stat on any weapon in the game. You either love the fan, because the knockback lets you make extra jumps and launch unsuspecting fools into the sun, or you fucking despise it for the exact same reason. Launching people so far away that securing your kills is borderline impossible, or messing you up mid-jump because, yes, shooting someone in mid-air will kill all your momentum and send you backwards. It is pretty goddamn frustrating. And this really is the fan's biggest issue. That first shot, especially at point blank, has such an absurd amount of knockback that, at least against light classes and outside of enclosed spaces, the fall damage is more likely to finish them off than your follow-up shot is, which will usually do about as much damage as a handful of salt. Well, a handful of salt outside of Dean Winchester's hands.
Lilith wanted you there in the first place.
Well, then I'll just make you shut up.
Well, that's really a deal!
Though, mentioning enclosed spaces, if you're in one and you can pin someone up against the wall with your first shot, your follow-up will be able to do significant damage, which can usually be enough to splatter anyone that isn't a heavy all over it. Which is why it's very important to pair the Force of Nature with the right friends. So, which secondary should you combo the fan with? Well, in my opinion, the best secondaries for the Force of Nature are the Flying Guillotine and the Criticola. The Cleaver can provide that extra damage needed to take out targets reasonably up to 150 HP, so medics and gunslinger NGs. And I guess Islander demos that aren't using the booties, but why would you do that? If you want to play Hybrid Knight, please pick literally anything else. You can use the Cleaver either on approach, as it deals a whopping 50 on impact, plus some bleed, allowing your point-blank meat shot to just destroy them outright, or you can toss it at them after they've been launched for a pretty sick mid-air finish. Hell, I'm pretty sure Cleaver plus meat shot plus bleed plus fall damage, I think that's enough to take out even a soldier. As for the Cola, well, I mean, come on, it's the Critter Cola. The 35% damage bonus you get from the mini crits is enough to just one-shot light classes. Plus, it actually should be enough so that your follow-up shot can cross the 150 threshold. Either that or the full damage should absolutely kill them. But keep in mind, you are marked for death while it's active. Meaning, yeah, stuff like Demo Pills, Soldier Rocket, other scouts at point blank, even just Huntsman body shots, they're now just instant death. And other stuff like heavies shred you even faster, and hell, minis and level 1 sentries can just fill you with bullets. They're fatal pretty damn quick now. As for the Mad Milk, well, I mean, come on, what do you want me to say? It's the bloody Mad Milk. It's probably Scout's best secondary, and by a pretty large margin. But it doesn't actually pair with the fan as well as you'd think, due to the Milk being much better at support, which Scout's best primary, the stock Scattergun, really appreciates, as it's basically Scout's only primary that doesn't really like having a damage-dealing secondary. Seriously, all 5 of Scout's primary unlocks have a clip size penalty, with some other kind of penalty on top of them. Only exception being the Soda Popper, but that, like the fan, you only get 2 shells, which that's enough of a penalty as it is. The pistols are all fair choices, Stock obviously being the most consistent for the on approach or finishing off chip damage. Pretty Boys provides some nice little healing on each hit, and the Winger has both a nice damage bonus and increased jump height, giving some more mobility that doesn't come at the cost of ammo. And finally, the Bonk Atomic Punch. Why would you use the Bonk Atomic Punch with the Force of Nature? Have you been listening at all? I made the big deal about the fan liking a damage-dealing secondary to help with securing kills. So why would you use a support secondary, not only Scout's worst support secondary, but one that doesn't even help? The Mad Milk at least has lifesteal, and the Cola obviously has the mini crits, but the Bonk, it just makes you invulnerable. Oh, and as for, melees to pair with the fan, I'd probably boil it down to 3. The Rap Assassin, the fan, the other fan, the 1-0 War, and the Candy Cane, as all 3 can fill a similar role to one of your secondary choices. You know, Cleaver and the Rap both do bleed, Fan or War and the Cola both do mini crits, Candy Cane and the Pretty Boys, or Mad Milk, all provide healing. And I guess if we're going the full mile of equating secondaries and melees, the Atomizer and Winger also play similar roles. But overall, I'd most recommend the Rap Assassin. More ranged, spammable, bleeding chip damage to help with securing kills is... it's always nice to have in your pocket. The Force of Nature is one of Scout's more fun primaries, given most of his other options aren't all too stand out. Now normally, and in future videos like this is the part where I would suggest balance changes for the weapon, if I've got any, but I honestly don't have any for the Force. Yeah, it's obviously not perfect, but it doesn't really need changes either, as the fan's already kind of a weapon that you give it an inch and it could potentially take a mile, so we'll leave the Force as in, even though I'd love for the second shell to have a tighter spread. But that could just turn it into a medic deleting menace, and we've already had a couple weapons over the years get absolutely dumpstered into being useless entirely because they could delete medics quick and easy. So let's not go. Don't poke that bear. That's not a bear you want to poke. You get me?
All along, confessing while alone.